Hey everybody, it's here to you, and welcome back to Let's Play Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion. In the previous episode, we found our way down in the Deep Sea Metro, met up with Captain Cuttlefish, and made contact with DJ Hyperfresh and Pearl. I honestly forgot what her codename was, but in today's episode, we are going to be continuing our adventure through Octo Expansion. Now, what I absolutely love about this mode is this is by far the most open single-player campaign in the Splatoon series. Now, we did have some levels in Octo Valley and Octo Canyon that we could have completed in any order, but it is way more open in Octo Expansion. Not quite right now, but you'll see what I mean as we continue through our adventure. So without further ado, let's go inside a nice air bud bounce with me, Stason. Bounce, bounce, nothing's gonna bring me down. Bounce, bounce, stand up, shout it out. I don't know if that's the actual lyrics, but that's the only thing that came to mind. So we can talk to this guy again. I'm not gonna be reading these verbally. You can check them out here if you want. But what we can do is go inside this area, pay our fee, and go onwards. Check it, 8. These Octo nerds look like they're having fun. Blast! They're Octarians here too! They look like Octarians, but there's something weird about them. Alright then, so now we're going to be going over this way, and something that I didn't really talk about a whole lot in the previous episode. Well, first of all, before I mention anything, look at all the details in the background! Oh, this is so cool! There's a flip phone right there, there's another one right over there, and there's a giant one! Oh! Okay, confessing, I don't like designs of smartphones nowadays. I much prefer the design of flip phones, and I've been kind of hoping they'd make a comeback with like an iPhone things or nowadays or whatever. That's very poorly grammatically worded. But yeah, I kind of been hoping that the flip phone would make a comeback at some point. Looks like it's not going to happen though, so that's unfortunate. But anyway, now we'll be going over this way. And what I was trying to say a moment ago was that the big thing about Octo Expansion is that there are way more levels in this game compared to the other single-player campaigns that we've come across in the Splatoon series. But the thing about Octo Expansion is that all these levels are also a lot shorter. So these are like really great pick-up-and-play levels, which is really great because of the nature of the Switch being a hybrid system. So I remember my first playthrough of this game. I believe this game came out around the time that, actually no, this came out in the summer. So I remember my fall term in college, I spent a majority of my time waiting between classes, and I'd spend that time playing Octo Expansion, and it was just such a great feeling playing this game. Like, I was really excited for Octo Expansion when it first came out, because a lot of people in the Splatoon fanbase, myself included, really wanted Octolinks playable in this series, but it didn't happen when the game first came out, but it did with Octo Expansion, and it's super awesome. So, without further ado, let's take care of this, and move onwards. Test pass, exclamation point. With that taken care of, let's move on to the next level. This is an Inkjet level. Please shoot down any Octo missiles that get in your way. Keep in mind the Octo Zeppelins have a weak spot on top, so shoot them there. You can of course press B while using Inkjet to float a bit. And be sure to use those ink switches and grapplings as best you can. So, one thing that is really cool about this is that we can play these levels with the infinite amount of ability to use the special weapons. Again, poorly grammatically worded right there, but that's the best I can come up with on the spot. It's been a little while since I recorded, admittedly, but this is just so cool! We can play Inkjet the entire level! We've seen super weapons before, or special weapons, or whatever they're called, but we've never seen them quite to this degree. And something that's also kind of funny is that I have a bit of a confession about the Inkjet. I had no idea that you can actually jump with this thing until I saw that piece of advice from Sea Cucumber. I had no idea that you could jump with this Inkjet, so that's like a mind-boggling revelation when he said that. So, we're going over this way. We want to do this quickly. Go up there. And can I destroy this with the Inkjet? I can! Yeah, all shall fear me. In case it isn't super obvious by now, Agent 8 is so adorable! Oh, by the way, while you've been out there passing tests, Captain Cuttlefish had some time on his hands, so we've been chatting with him. We thought you might be interested, so we made a chat log available to you. Use the LNR badge to select the chat logs on your CQ80. Take a look sometime. So, we'll be looking at that after we complete this level. How we'll be handling the chat logs throughout Octo Expansion is that when we unlock a new one, we're going to be reading it at the end of the Octo Expansion portion of the video. So, we're going over there, and this is our first chance to choose a weapon. So, in the past single-player campaigns, we were restricted to just one weapon on our first playthrough, but now we can choose one for ourselves. We have a Splash Shot Pro, a Burst Bomb, Tossing Machine with Splat Bomb, and a Classic Squiffer and Burst Bomb. So if you want a real challenge, you can use this weapon right here, which is pretty cool. I'm going to be going with the recommended one because I'm a wimp. You can switch out the weapon you're using by activating the equipper with A. So again, this gives you a good chance to test out how well you can use this weapon. So it's really nice that they have that right there. Okay, what do you have to say, buddy? Pay close attention to the 8-ball. Oh, man. Oh, this level. Oh, man. Okay, I have a very fun story about this. So, this isn't the first time that I've played Octo Expansion in a video format. We did Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion Versus over on the game channel. And that series was a lot of fun, even if I was going through some really bad personal things at the time, which I won't get into right now. But the thing about Octo Expansion was... during this part of the Versus, I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I decided to have like a bit of a fun running gag where the 8-ball was my son, and his name was George. So from here on out, this is George the 8-ball, and he's my son, and I shall treasure him forever. Alright, come on, George, you can do this. Oh, now that is sweet. Oh, Marina acknowledges it! Oh. Also, can I just point out the fact that the best Splatoon waifu is helping us in this game? Oh, it makes me so happy! In case you couldn't tell, I absolutely love Octo Expansion. So, putting this bluntly right now, Octo Expansion is easily my favorite single-player campaign in the Splatoon series. There's just so many good ideas here. We've only scratched the surface with how awesome Octo Expansion is. Oh boy, I have a lot to say about this. So, another thing that I gotta mention real quick is figuring out how I was going to handle this in a Let's Play was kind of a nightmare. Because for those of you who don't know, I've been playing this Let's Play for a very long time. Pretty much since the game came out. And then the thing with Octo Expansion was... at the time that this single-player campaign DLC was announced, which, by the way, this mode is a locked behind DLC, so it's not available in the base game. You're going to need to pay a little bit extra for Octo Expansion, which I think is perfectly fine because, personally speaking, I think Octo Expansion has enough content to justify a separate game. So it's pretty awesome that... I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but going back to my point. The thing with Octo Expansion was, at the time that this was announced, my Let's Play notes and estimations for how long the series was going to last had this series ending roughly around episode 64, which made me really happy because I always try to plan big projects to end on episode 64. I've only been able to happen with Skyward Sword though, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But the thing about this was that this was kind of a thing that threw a wrench within the progress of planning out that Let's Play, because I was really wanting to Let's Play the game around the time the Octo Expansion came out. But when this was announced, I pretty much had to delay the game while I tried to figure out how I was going to handle this, and we actually ended up having a similar problem with the Versus channel as well. We ended up deciding to split Octo Expansion into a separate Versus that we do later on. And I decided to do everything Splatoon 2 related within one Let's Play. I didn't want to split this off into a separate Let's Play or anything like that, so that's the reason why this is a phase 2 of one big Let's Play, rather than just a separate Let's Play we'd do later. You have now unlocked 2 lines. You can view them on the Deep Sea Metro map. Stations marked with a circly thingy will contain one of the 4 things. Seek them out. I'd like to offer you a reward for finding this new line. Please pay me a visit. Beg your pardon, young squire. Might I have a look at those trinkets you got there? Forgive me if I caught you off guard. Hope I'm not too off-putting for the child. They call me Isopedre. That's not my name, mind you, but it's the only one I recall now. Man, can you imagine being called a nickname so much that you forget your own name? Down here, we call these thin slices of memory meme cakes. Meme cakes, however you pronounce them. I've spent an age or 2 here in the depths hungry for them. They're my only link left. At least I still remember my own days as a test subject, though I washed out early. I pray that you will be the one to cut through the gloom and light the way to my dreams. Share your mem cakes with me, and I'll repay the favor. Safe travels, young squire.
Not sure this age, so Padre is playing with the full deck. Doesn't seem like a bad chap, though.
So the more mem cakes that you collect, the better rewards you'll get for Iso Padre. You wish to have a confidant closer to your own age, I can sympathize. No matter how far out you go, home is the place where you can always come back to. What's in my Atashi case, I would pronounce them. Wide dreams are made manifest. I did not get a chance to finish reading that. So I'm going to take a moment to look at the details on this thing, because this is just so cool. Like, you can see the cute little plushies right there, and he may seem intimidating at first, but he's a really nice guy. So, Sea Cucumber also had something for us, so let's go talk to him real quick. As a reward for arriving at a new line, allow me to grant you some CQ points. Please collect these 500 points. Yay, we get money that we can use to play through levels again. It's just like a mobile game. Alrighty then, so that's going to be it for the Octo expansion portion of this video. So I'm going to meet you guys in the imaginary land of alternate save file. So without further ado, let's go. DJ Hyperfresh has joined the chat room. Hey, anyone here yet? Hello. MC Princess has joined the chat room. Hey yo, it's Pearl. Oh snap, it's Marina! Hey Pearl, aka DJ Hyperfresh, aka DJ Cold Breakfast, aka The Fuzzy Dazzler, aka DJ Catch and Release. Craig Cuttlefish has joined the chat room. Dude's screen name is just his first and last name. Gotta love old people, lol. Hi, Captain Cuttlefish. Can you see the chat room okay on your cell phone? I can see it just fine, thanks for asking, but all my letters are big for some reason. Hit the caps lock key, Cap. It should be the button to the lower left depending on your phone. BTW, I was able to hack into the CQ80, so Agent 8 should be able to see our chat logs. Test on at Cuttlefish. Agent 8, we'll send you a dump of our latest chat logs every few stages. Keep an eye out. Yo, Cap, how do you even type like that? You gotta show me. Marina's chat room is definitely one of the best parts of Octo Expansion. And welcome back to the magical land of alternate save file. Today, we'll be starting off our adventure through Rainmaker in Sturgeon Shipyard. And just like what we did with the previous episode, we are now going to be talking about some new weapons that you can try out when you play Splatoon 2. So the 2 families of weapons we'll be talking about in this episode are the Arrow Spray and the Splatter Shot families. So first up, Arrow Spray. This is a pretty interesting weapon because it has the widest shot spread, it has the fastest fire rate, but it has very low damage and is best used at close range. So the Arrow Spray is a very particular kind of weapon where it's best used if you're really up close and personal to your opponents, but if you're pretty far away from your person you're fighting, then it's not really going to be all that useful. So this is probably best saved for people who like getting up and personal when it comes to battling other people in this game. Whereas if you're somebody like me, who likes to hide from battles and take care of whatever turf I can come across, this might not be the best weapon for you, but I've seen a lot of really great arrow spray weapons out there, so this can be a very powerful weapon if you know what you're doing. And there are 3 different types of arrow sprays you can use. You have the Arrow Spray MG, which has a suction bomb and a curving bomb launcher, which is unlocked at level 6. Now, this combination is pretty interesting because, like I've mentioned before, this is one of the very rare instances where a bomb launcher special weapon is different from the actual sub-weapon you can use for that weapon. Now, I'm saying this, but I'm starting to notice a pattern where this is actually being a lot more common. I remember this not being a common thing in the first game, but I haven't really been paying attention to it that often during Splatoon 2, so I thought it was just the same thing with this one. But it seems to be the case in this game where the weapon you're using for the bomb launcher is different from your regular sub-weapon. But anyway, back to the actual weapons themselves. The Aerospray RG has a sprinkler and a baller, is unlocked at level 28, and the Aerospray PG has a burst bomb and a booyah bomb. Now, this is probably the Aerospray that I'd personally go with just for the sub-weapon of being a burst bomb. A lot of weapons that I liked in the first game, like the Slosher for example, they had burst bombs, and that was my personal favorite sub-weapon in the original game. But unfortunately, a lot of my mains in Splatoon 2 don't have burst bombs. So if I did use an Aerospray, this would be the one just for that. And also, it has a Booyah Bomb, which becomes more powerful when you spam the Booyah. That is like the definition of awesomeness. Alright, so the next weapon we'll be talking about is the Splattershot family, and we have a lot of variants to go over in this episode. So, the Splattershot itself, this is a pretty basic weapon, so you can't go wrong if you try using one of these. It's very basic. It has mid-range, mid-damage, and it's perfect for beginners, and there's really no drawbacks to it. So the basic Splattershot is unlocked at level 2. Comes with a Burst Bomb and a Splashdown. This is perfect for beginners who are trying to get away from the Splattershot Junior and want to try something new. This is basically a slightly more powerful version of it, but there's still people out there who will still stick with the Splattershot Junior for their entire time playing Splatoon 2, and there's nothing wrong with that. The Tentakid Splattershot comes with a Splat Bomb and an Inkjet, is unlocked at level 4. This one is pretty interesting as well. I don't remember there being a whole lot of differences between that one and the vanilla version of the Splattershot, but the Splat Bomb is still a pretty great weapon that can really trick opponents into going in the direction that they really want to go to. Like, for example, if you're going around a corner, you can, like Port Macro, for example, you can have a Splat Bomb go one direction to force your opponent to go another direction, which leads them directly into a trap. So things like that are pretty good. And Inkjet is also a really great weapon to use at the very last minute, because of reasons we've already discussed plenty of times during this Let's Play. The next 2 versions of the Splattershot are a little different, though, so these ones are unlocked in very different ways than what we usually unlock weapons with. The first is the Hero Shot Replica. This comes with a Burst Bomb and a Splashdown. Burst Bombs, I can't praise these things enough. These are so powerful in this game, and they're so good. And Splashdown is also amazing. So, yeah, Burst Bombs, I don't really talk about them too much, aside from praising them. But what's really great about them is that if you have a quick-fire weapon, that you can use a Burst Bomb to start up damage, and then use a quick-fire attacks to finish them off quickly. This is a really great strategy for sloshers in the first game, because you can fire a Burst Bomb, and then one attack of the slosher would finish off the opponents most of the time. But with this game, Burst Bombs have been kind of nerfed, so not a whole lot of weapons will really allow you to do that anymore. And Splashdown, as we mentioned plenty of times during the Let's Play, they can be activated in the middle of a squid jump, which can be pretty powerful if there's somebody guarding the area you're going to be landing. You can take them out with Splashdown, and it is awesome. How you unlock the Hero Shot Replica, however, like I said earlier, is very different from how you usually unlock a weapon. This is unlocked by completing Octo Canyon. There are plenty of replica weapons that you can unlock in Octo Canyon. We've already talked about this briefly during the Hero Replica weapon video, but basically, whenever you complete every level in Octo Canyon with a weapon, you can use that weapon in the online multiplayer mode. So we're going to be seeing this pop up a couple times throughout the Let's Play. The next one I want to talk about is the Octo Shot Replica. This is unlocked by completing Octo Expansion. Because we're technically still in Octo Expansion during this Let's Play, we're just going to pretend that our Octoling has a very active imagination and this is what they're aiming for. So the Octo Shot Replica has a Splat Bomb and an Inkjet. And, fun fact, this weapon, like most of the weapons we've been talking about throughout the Let's Play, were in the original game. How you unlocked it in the original game, though, was you got this at level 40. And I never actually reached that in that game. As much as I love Splatoon, I never actually reached level 40 in that game. As it is, right now, I'm a higher level in this game than I ever was in the original Splatoon. But, yeah, that's something that's pretty interesting. But what's also interesting is the last version of the Splatter Shot, the Kensa Splatter Shot. This has a Suction Bomb and Tenta Missiles. Tenta Missiles, I've already praised them enough, they're my favorite special weapon in the entire game. They're not so great for taking out opponents, but they're amazing for figuring out where they're hiding and how you can be strategic in attacking them and stuff like that. This is unlocked at level 6. But what's interesting about this one in particular is the Kensa Splatter Shot actually replaces a weapon from the original game. Not every weapon in the original game returned in this one, and this is the first instance of something like that happening. The Kensa Splatter Shot replaced the Wasabi Splatter Shot from the first game. I don't remember too much about this weapon, I don't really play around with them myself, so I don't know how similar it plays with the Kensa Splatter Shot, but I imagined it's fairly similar. Victory Screech! Ooh! Alright, so that's going to be it for this episode of Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion. So thank you all so much for watching this episode, and until next time, Lady Gear to you. Oh yeah.